think we had some arguments. He was rolling with some people that I wasn't really getting down with like that. And I was like, look, I'm a step. I did Dr. Dre. I was like, I'm a step, do my own shit. You know, I know what I'm doing.
Was that your mom telling you don't play with the court system?
Nah, she was just, I mean, my mom was just trying to figure out what it means because the whole time I thought we was doing good. I thought we was doing good for the culture.
Right.
I didn't think nobody would go against us breaking artists for them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Some of the hosting fees and stuff that we had gotten was like, it was a payback for us helping the culture. Anybody we helped, it was for that. You know what I'm saying? That's just my honest opinion. Like we was having fun, bro. We had so much fun that we didn't have time to think about anything that could have possibly happened in that realm.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Nothing.
So when we fell out, I think that Drum had gotten some altercations with Jeezy, but I was rocking with Jeezy. Me and Jeezy just always been cool. And I think that when that shit got out of hand with them two, Drum called me. We wasn't talking. He called me like, yo, we got to put an end to this shit. Whack. It's getting ugly. Blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And that's when we started talking, I think, like 4 or 5 years after we had fell out.
Damn.
He reached out and was like, yo, we should go get something to eat and, you know, figure it out. And when we went to Jersey Mike's and we sat down and had some sandwiches. By the time we got to talking, it was nothing to argue about because we ain't had nothing, no animosity.
That's my question. Like, it didn't seem like beef.
Yeah, we didn't have no issue, but bro, y'all don't know the half. Like, I don't even know if he told you, like, and I'm be completely real because nobody know the story. When Jeezy did Trap or Die 2, I was dissing him the whole tape. I was coming at him every bar I was talking about. You know what I mean?
He's coming at drama?
Coming at his neck. And then I heard him, but it was an underlying beef that nobody knew. Right. So you think about him on the Gucci tapes or him in the Fab tapes, he was talking. It's funny because I was looking at something you said about snakes on a plane. You never thought you'd be Samuel L. Jackson, right?
Right.
Drum said that on Fab tape, the joint with the shovel. He was like, yeah, I never thought I'd see snakes on a plane, right? And I come at that nigga and said, talk about horses. I fell off the Porsche. You know what I'm saying? So it was shit we was just going back. You know, at the time, Drum had bought this big ass castle. Shit, yeah. You know what I mean? I don't know what he was doing, but my youngins was over his crib. Was like, yeah, I just went over there. He ain't had no furniture. I was like, oh, word? Ain't got no furniture that big ass crib? Watch this. I got on the tape. You ain't gonna live in that big ass house for long. Yeah, we was just going at it, but
nobody knew.
Nobody knew. We was just on some shit, and we never told the story. We was just going crazy. So I'm gonna bring this all the way full circle in the summer. Right. So we constantly, every tape, I'm saying some shit, he's saying some shit. I'm saying some shit, he's saying shit to niggas that fuck with me.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? He just dissing. I'm like, oh shit, it's getting crazy, right? So the reason I'm bringing that up because when we finally sat down, we really had no issue.
Because y'all said everything.
And he was like, yo, and the shit was, we was saying some shit, I was repeating, I was like, yeah, nigga, you said you had snakes on the plane, nigga, that shit fucked me up. Yeah. He's like, yeah, we used to talk about my house, man, that fucked me up. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's a true story. Like we went through this whole shit, but I'm bringing it full circle because I felt like the raid had something to do with us. We were popping crazy, and I felt like our heads got big, and we was just doing weird shit to each other. Right. You know what I mean? We was just acting. It was evil, bro. Yeah. And I felt like that came through and slowed everything down to a point it was like, oh shit. And I felt like God was like, bro, I didn't put y'all in this position for y'all to be beefing. I don't give a fuck what it is. Like, stop all that. Yeah, and I felt like that's what I had an understanding what it was all about. It was like, oh shit, it was about us not building the empire like he wanted us to. You know what I'm saying? So that's where it got shaky, and that's where it was like we was beefing. It came to an end later on. You know, we still laugh about the shit. We just don't, we tell shit in private because people like, you know what I mean? But this is something like, I speak my mind, so I'm like, man, I want to tell people, but people don't know we was dissing each other.
What do you think was the shit that hit that he said, and you was like, whoa, low blow?
Snakes on a plane. You know what I mean? Because, and you know, as a business, and I'm going to give y'all a little bit more, as a business and you have business partners in your friendship, they always say friendship and business don't work, but ours been working. You know what I mean? So when I say things like, when you say things like snakes on a plane, I was irritable because I was like, bro, like nigga, I live and die for you. That's what I was doing. Like I had your back forever. Like we should never question that. So that was kind of like, you know what I mean? That was like, okay, I'm a snake on a plane. And it felt like he really ain't want to say it because he really ain't believe it. I think the niggas was around him like, yeah, get that nigga, he's a snake. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to tell you, it was crazy. I was living good. I was having fun and shit. I seen these niggas at the Pie Bar in Atlanta. So I'm by myself. I always just by myself. I keep my cousin with me or something. And he came, they 10 deep. You know what I'm saying? They come in the joint. He looked, I tell him this all the time. When he came in the party, he looked like a zombie. This nigga looked like Tupac. He walking bitch like this. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the corner. I'm like, oh, they on. They ain't on nothing. I'm gonna see. We see each other. We in the same damn vicinity. Right. Everybody like, what's up? What's up? It ain't like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It wasn't like, yeah, nigga, get out my way. Like it was always that. We seen each other a couple times. Even the people that was on his team that wasn't fucking with me, I seen them by myself at like chicken spots and shit. Right. And they hop out the car, they pull up. They'll give you a little nod, but keep it moving. It wasn't, yo, son. It was just keep it moving, but we was in the same spot. So that's the temperature I picked up on that. It was like, oh, it ain't really nothing like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? It ain't. Shit.
Did you have to still get those dudes out of his circle, those new faces in the camp? That you think might have caused some friction?
I think he started beefing with them internally, and then it became. That's where the call came from. It's like, bro, I don't know how I got away from what we was doing. I need to get that synergy back because the way I'm living right now, I'm not really fucking with what I'm doing. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that was basically it. Like, you know, we had some mutual friends that would go back and forth between us, and you know, one of them being Lake Show is one of our business partners. He would come to my studio and I'll be over there dissing the shit out of Drums, like, yo, listen, we ain't gonna do all that, right? And then he would go to Drums side and Drama would be like, man, that motherfucker then he'd be like, yo, we ain't doing that. So he was like one of the saving spots too. Just always saying like, yo, we ain't gonna do that. I ain't gonna let y'all. And he was on both sides. He was getting money with me, he was getting money with him. And he was like, nah, we ain't gonna do that. And I remember that for the rest of my life because I feel like that's one of the points that was just like, okay.
That's a real home.
Yeah, he did that.
That's a real home.
Salute. They don't
Salute.
always do it like that. Some people look at those as opportunities to play one side off for the other. Yeah. A lot of people do that.
Yeah.
Put their hand and stir shit up. Yeah, stir shit up.
Yeah. So, you know, with that being said, we built what we came to. Like when we sat down and talked, I had moved to LA. I took a job with Def Jam, and I was the vice president, A&R. And
what year was that?
This was like 2012.
I remember that.
And I remember that's when I had to lift up the hood and try to figure out what the hell the labels be doing. You know what I'm saying? Right. So when I went, No ID, that's another one that's like one of my favorites. That's like one of my closest guys. He was the one who brought me in. He was like, yo, we're going to run the regime, try to figure out how to break these artists inside the building. You know what I mean? So when we was doing it, I was in Cali and Drum had hit me like, yo, when you get back to Atlanta, I want to show you something. I'm like, all right, cool. I slide back to Atlanta. He showed me Mean Streets, where was the studio that he built. And he had a couple of rooms. And I went in there. I was like, oh, shit. You got the radio room. You got this room over here. The feng shui was there, but he had equipment. Because at the time, they called me the wizard through the whole career because I knew the right speakers to get. I knew all the, technical shit. So when I came in, I was like, oh, checking the shit out. I'm like, oh, I can make all this shit. Fine, we can do this. He was like, come on, man, let's do it. And that's how we started getting back in the flow. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I tried to. I'm laughing because I tried to get a job.
At Main Street?
At Def Jam.
Oh, at Def Jam. Oh,
at Def Jam. When you were over there?
Yeah. Wow.
2012.
Kenny shot you down?
Oh no, I never got the meeting.
Yeah.
I never got the meeting. They told me he was in Cali. He was the guy I had to talk to. I was so stuck out here working. By the time I got to Cali, I didn't even think to set up anything. I never got to sit down with you at all. But I was like this close. I was like 2 people away from, because you got to call somebody to call. I was this close. I had just left the Source maybe like a year before, 2000, into 2010, I just left the Source.
Yeah, that's wild.
And A&R for Def Jam would have been like the dream job. But the guy who was in charge was in fucking California.
You know what's funny? I didn't even want that job. I just did it because I know
Ain't
Lil
that a
ID
bitch?
had my back. And I'm gonna tell you
that a
why.
bitch?
When I was working so closely with rappers, when you went to the building, you was the suit. So you turned to the other side. So everybody don't want to fuck with you no more. Like people would just be like, "Yo, I know you, but why you got the suit on?" You know what I'm saying? When the suit came off, "Yo, welcome back."
It's hot for trapper turn smack rapper. Only smack rapper that you know is smack rappers. Got bars I can hang with the backpackers. Trap star, I don't hang with the backpackers. I'm in the hood with the work you heard. Making fiends leave earth you heard. Got your baby mama thirst you heard. Feel the flow, nigga, throw it in reverse. This the wave you need to surf you heard.